Hi guys, welcome to Interior Insights. I'm Jane, and today we are going to look at a former bakery that has been transformed into a really artsy loft by a street art artist who lives here. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you a real artwork just around the corner, so stick to the video and watch until the end. Come in. The loft itself is located in Leipzig, in the west of Leipzig, which is a city in Germany that formerly used to belong to the DDR, in one of the coolest districts in the west of Leipzig called Plagwitz. As we enter the loft, we are just warmly greeted by a big plant family that lives here. The artist Kuba, who owns this apartment, loves plants, and they give the apartment just an absolute beautiful feeling. Formerly, this place used to be a bakery, so this place really entails a long and charming history. And after this place was used by a lot of artists and was just used as different art studios, and because of this, we have a lot of paint stains that you can see on the still original tiles. And because of the industrial character of the loft, the stains are part of the history and part of the apartment, so they weren't removed, but they're just there. And they are a little throwback into the history of this apartment. As for the walls, they are held in this very rustic, shabby style. We can see that the wallpaper has been stripped off the walls and that it wasn't covered up again. And this is just what gives this loft this just old and historic character. It has a really beautiful patina. We can see some pencil marks, or we can see some splashes of color, and it just perfectly portrays the history of this place. To underline this industrial character, also the shelves are kept in a very industrial style, and they are just literally just white painted metal beams, and they give this apartment its structure. The color palette in this apartment is held in a lot of neutrals. We have this rich patina of the beige walls. They give the apartment the perfect underground. Then we have all of these beautiful green plants that add pops of color and give this room a really magical and charming atmosphere. And I love the plants. We can see that the room itself is kept quite minimal. We don't have a lot of things standing here. We have an old vintage sofa chair that is also really broken and that has a lot of marks and a very rich patina. Every direction we look at, we can see that an artist is living here. For example, over here, we actually have an artwork that is literally just one gigantic piece of canvas that hasn't been uncovered. And it's simple and quite fun. Or above me, we have all of these beautiful psychedelic surrealist paintings and sketches that have been collected all over the years. Or as we came in, we had this beautiful yellow piece of artwork that was also one of the older works of the artist. And you can just see that the person who lives here is living and breathing art. If you haven't yet subscribed, go and subscribe. And it's little personal details like this that really create a story in an apartment. As you come in, enter a completely different world. Over here we have a gigantic glass table where you can have dinner, and it is facing this gigantic window. And the gigantic window is framed by a lot of plants. And the reason why we have such a big window is because this used to be a bakery, and you had just all of the passengers, people walking by, look in, see the delicious bread and come in. And now when they look in, they see an artist making his art. And as we look outside, we are facing a beautiful, gigantic red historic brick facade, and it just adds a pop of color to this utterly monochromatic design. We have two big industrial lights above us that lighten up the space. The artist really made the plants the show of the apartment. All around us, we have spots of big and small green plants, and they are what make this place so enchanting and create almost a jungle atmosphere inside a city. And what I love is that here we actually have a shelf that is made and dedicated just to the plants. And we can see that it is also in this industrial style, and it is just a black frame. And you have all of these different plants standing inside, and they are growing around the shelf, and they're owning the space and making it their own. So you have plants that are growing around the door frames, and they're growing down the shelves. I just love these little enchanted details. Also over here, we can see again that this shelf is also dedicated just to the plants, and we again have them growing all the way around and down, and they beautifully frame the architecture and the structure of the architecture that we have here. Now let's go inside the bedroom. So these stairs were made by the artist himself. Walking up the stairs into this bedroom is almost kind of like a little fairy tale experience. You enter an almost completely white bedroom. This white fabric that has just been draped over the bed, and this just creates a very luxurious and a very inviting atmosphere, and you feel right at home. These doors are still original from when this building was built, and they're just heavy wood doors that have been painted white. And what I love is that you just have all of these different details that make up the door. Everything in the bedroom is vintage, just like in the rest of the apartment. We have two gigantic cabinets made from old vintage wood. They've had a long history because we can see a lot of the marks on the wood. And this is just something I really love about furniture that has been made from real materials, because you can see the story that the furniture went through and everything that it has experienced, and it's not like you're just buying a plastic chair and it stays a perfectly new plastic chair forever. Over here we have a bedside lamp that is from the 70s, and it just throws this beam of light diagonally onto the wall. It just creates this visual tension in the room. And of course, what I love about the room the most is just this simple white piece of fabric that has just been draped all over the bed, and it just feels like you're sleeping underneath the clouds. Another thing I like about this apartment is the fact that this corner, for example, has a lot of functions. So down here we have a cabinet, so you can actually also sit down, and there's kind of like a sofa situation that has been created. Or above me, in the back, the space was used to put a hanging rod for hanging your clothes or putting up your jacket. So actually, even though the space isn't the biggest, you have all of the functions that a very big apartment would have. Show you the kitchen. So we go up these stairs, and as we enter the kitchen itself is kept in the same rustic style like the rest of the apartment. And we can see that nothing has been covered up. We have all of these old bits of paint that is coming off, and you just have this historic and rustic charm. And behind me we have a gigantic black and white poster of the face of a woman. These big graphic oversized elements are what give a place like this their personal historic charm, their personality, and almost a sense of attitude. And I believe that this is a reference to all of the street art that the artist is making outside. Because the space isn't too big, the kitchen itself is quite simple, and because we don't have enough space, we have a very cool space-saving solution, that is this table. So this table actually is much higher than a regular table would be, and currently it is just kind of like a sideboard, but you can actually open it up. And now you have a perfect table for drinking a glass of wine or eating your cereal in the morning. And I believe it's also healthier to actually stand rather than sit. Other than that, everything is kept very open and in a very rustical, raw style. Over here, we can go into the bathroom. The bathroom is white and minimal and has all the necessities that you need. The special piece in this apartment is this beautiful old locker. It is made from red metal, and it adds a pop of color in this otherly white bathroom. It's covered in a lot of stickers, and it just again takes the outside and the street life and the street art into the apartment. And we can see that nature and architecture really just became one in this place. I hope you liked the video. If you haven't yet subscribed, go and subscribe, and comment below if you like having as many plants in this apartment. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope to see you next week.